Everybody, hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, can you just put a Y or something in the text box, please? Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. That's good. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say you're all very, very welcome. It's great that you've taken time out to listen in. And because there's lots of new people coming into the business just recently, I'm going to be talking about having a new team member. Now, before I start, can I just suggest that everybody gets a pen and some paper so that they can make some notes, okay? Because you'll realize as you get into this business, making notes is a very, very important part of being able to train new people that you bring into the business. Okay, so let's have a little look. Let's go to the next page then. And this is probably a quote that you might want to write down. I know a lot of you have heard this before, but it says, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. Yes, by somebody called Zig Ziglar, a great motivational speaker. But I'm just going to repeat that again. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. Very, very true in this business. You help lots of people, develop an income for themselves that will then, as a knock-on effect, help you make more income. Okay, so help people an income for themselves. And when we first come into a couple of things. The first is that we need to retail. We need to learn the system of putting our catalogs out, collecting them back, placing the orders. Or if you're doing it online or a combination of online and catalogs, that's fine. So we need to learn that system. And we also need to learn the system of sponsoring, because sponsoring will create a much bigger income for people. And we're taught that we should try and find 5 good people. Now that doesn't mean that the first 5 people that you bring into the business are good people in terms of Clean Easy. But let's just base it on 5 good people. We need to teach those 5 good people how to retail and sponsor, just like we've learned. And then you need to teach these 5 how to teach their people how to retail, sponsor, and then teach their 5. Yeah. Which means that you need duplication with this. And the reason that you want duplication is on the right-hand side. See, when you first start off in the business, it's just you. There's just one person in your team. But if you help 5 on your first level, you've got 5 people. If those 5 then help their 5, you've now got 25 on your second level, 125 on your third level, 625 on your fourth level, and 3,125 on your 5th level. And Clean Easy is a 5-level deep business. Now there's no restriction in the number that you can go wide, but you get paid up to 5 levels deep within Clean Easy. So sponsoring and duplication is vitally important if you want to build a big successful business. If you want this 5x5 system to work, you must ensure that you're copying what you do, right? In other words, they need to copy exactly what you do so that they can get the same sort of success. So let's just assume that you've got started a business, you've done some retail, you've started to sponsor, and you've got somebody into your team. Well, if you're new at this, don't go panicking, because you've got your upline there to help you. And if they can't help you, you then go up to your next upline, and so on until you find somebody that can help you. Okay? If you've been in the business for a little while, which a lot of us have, you then need to know some of the ground rules in terms of helping and training your new team member. And life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. And this is very true. That's such a true quote. We all have to go through the learning process of teaching so that we can understand it. It's a bit like driving a car. It's all very well knowing the theory, But it's not until you get into the car and experience it for real that you start to understand how it actually works. So don't be afraid to give teaching and training a go. You know, for sure, you're going to make some mistakes, just like you would if you jumped into a car. But we need to live it to understand it, okay? So don't let sponsoring and training people frighten you. Just as it says there, life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. So some of the ground rules. Once you've brought somebody into your business, they've become part of your business. They're not long lost friends, right? They've become business colleagues, certainly to start with anyway, and you must act accordingly. But the good news is that over time, they can become really, really good friends. Can't force it on day one. And basically, all you need to do is treat people the way that you want to be treated. See, if you genuinely want people to succeed, that will shine through. And a good quote to write down is, team won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If they know that you're there for them, to help them and guide them because you want them to be successful, that's so much more important than the amount of knowledge that you've got about this business. Okay, so make sure that you help your team become successful. If you become too friendly with people too fast, sometimes it becomes overpowering, and we've had this, you know, this in all the time that we've been in Clean Easy. You know, from time to time, people do become over friendly, and it can be overpowering, and sometimes that does result in a new member leaving the business. So make sure, firstly, that your new person doesn't leave because of you, but the opposite is also true. Okay, if you tend to shy away, you don't give people any support, you're not staying in contact with them, that will have a detrimental effect on people, and they could drop out. So it's a balancing game, really. You need to be friendly but not over friendly. Yeah, you need to give them support but not too much. So we all want to really try and follow the same system because it's duplication going throughout our team. However, when you bring new people into the business, sometimes they do go off and they do their own thing. Yeah, they do better. And when it doesn't work for them, they start to blame everything apart from themselves. Yeah, and in this situation, there's not much you can do apart from, you know, guide and help them as best you can. You can't force people to do the same as you. I know it's frustrating, but we've just got to accept it and move on. And there's a very quote: be not angry that you can't make others as you wish them to be, since you cannot make yourself as you want to be. I'm sure there's something about each and every one of us that we would like to change in some, but you know, and we find it difficult to change ourselves, so we can't change others. Okay, all we can do is help and guide people. But you do need to be positive when you've got new people in your business. Yeah, if you've got a problem, if you've got some gripes or concerns, you must go up line and, you know, air those gripes and concerns in private, because you don't want to transfer all your negativity and your problems onto other people within your group. Your new distributor is like a pumped up balloon, and if they hear your problems and gripes and concerns, they'll start to deflate each time they hear it. You know, they could drop out of business. So you want to be enthusiastic, because people like to follow enthusiastic people. And the opposite is now true. If you're enthusiastic, you start to pump up that balloon to get people motivated and wanting to do this business more. Okay. Now, communication with your new team member is absolutely essential. I mean, the best way by far is face to face, maybe over a cup of coffee. And I know Andy Cooper gets together with lots of his team over a coffee at Starbucks or the coffee or wherever he goes. But face to face is so powerful. Even if it's just one person that you're sitting down with, you know, you can have a really good conversation and you can move the business forward. Early days, we said that we would only contact people between 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night, unless we've agreed other, you know, that are available. There have been times that I've spoken to people within our team at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. So especially if they're going for a certain percentage level, or if they're going for trips, you know, we're talking on a very regular basis, but those times have to be agreed. Yeah, generally between 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night, that's fine. Outside of those times, you need to chat with people and agree a time. So how often should you contact your new team member? Well, I would say days, at least 2 to 3 times a week, if not more. Now, after a few weeks, if they're not really doing very much and they're just plodding along, once a week might suffice. Serious, you need to be calling them most days, especially if they're aiming to get to 10, 13, 18, 21%, or whatever target they're going for. And if they are really serious, they won't be waiting for your call, they'll be ringing you. Yeah. If you've got a call round to your new team members home for whatever reason, I would highly recommend that you don't just turn up. I would always suggest you always make an appointment. Don't overstay your welcome, and try and keep the talk to Clean Easy as much as possible, because I mean it is quite easy to go around to somebody's house, start talking about Clean Easy, and then you get onto lots of different subjects, which, you know, it's fine because you can't just talk about Clean Easy, but sometimes we get drawn into those so much that Clean Easy is only a small part of it. You know, you're not their counsellor, you're not their financial advisor or anything else, and we've all gone down that route at some point. Yeah, so you know, try to have a specific agenda when you talk to people. Using the phone to stay in contact is vital. Yeah, what I would say is don't assume that people know anything about this business. Treat them as a blank canvas, and you're the artist trying to paint the picture for them of what they're able to get from this business. When you ring them, have a plan of what you want to cover, and it's also important to ask questions and do a bit of training at the same time. So it might be something along the lines of, you know, how did you get on putting your catalogs out today? And did you know that instead of walking back with, you know, a great big heavy bag, you could leave that at the gate, walk down with just the catalogue, pop it through the letterbox, come back, pick up the bag, just put it back down, and walk down with just a catalogue, rather than carrying, you know, 50 catalogues on your back. Could be something as simple as that. And what was try and end each conversation with some sort of thought-provoking comment. So, for example, it might be, well, when are you planning to put your flyers out? Or considered, whilst you're putting your catalogues out, putting some flyers out at the same time, so that you're doing 2 jobs in one. Yeah. Or getting a particularly good pickup from just popping the catalogues out, you could say, well, have you ever thought about doing some doorstep presentations? Always try and end with some thought-provoking comment. But you also need to treat everybody the same. You know, it doesn't matter whether they're a bank manager, a refuse collector, or anything else. Yeah, they've never done Clean Easy before, so you need to do everything from day one. Yeah, but only give information that's relevant to them at that particular time. You know, there's no point in talking about pass over and pass up in terms of, you know, the income, when they've not even received their catalogues and they don't catalogue out. So talk to them about where they are right at this moment in time. But in this business, two-way conversation is vital. Yeah, none of us are mind readers. So if help is needed, the new distributor to ring us so that we can then help them. Yeah, and this goes up line and down line. If you need to be speaking to your people, asking them questions, but they also need to be contacting you saying, look, how do I do this? What do I do here? So it's a two-way street. Yeah, you can't do all the running around. Now, obviously, we've got communication through email, and I think it's used as an add-on, not a substitute for talking to your team. Nothing stronger than getting to see them face-to-face, or secondly, talking to them on the phone or Skype. Yeah. Now, we get good information on email from the company. We get our meeting dates. We get all our news, which is fantastic. And another valuable source of training would be all the information on YouTube, especially now we've got all the Facebook videos that are out there. Yeah. So make sure that your team are watching those videos. Make sure that they've watched the first, they've watched the second video. Maybe ask them a few questions so that they've actually watched it. Now, we can also keep in contact through text, and text is fine. You know, it is a valuable tool, but I would avoid texting as a main method of communication, because you can't judge how somebody is feeling about the business through a text. You know, if you text somebody and say, oh, how's things going? And they come and say, fine. Now, is that fine, or is it fine, or you just don't know. You can't get a feel for how somebody feels about the business through a text message. So, you know, text is okay in certain circumstances, but don't use it as a main method of communication. Now, as you start to build your team, you become a leader, you become a coach. And a coach encourages and inspires people. Yeah, doesn't text or email the pupil. Yeah, they're there on the job. They're there to put any problems that are put it right immediately, so those problems are eliminated and don't actually become a habit. Because there's nothing worse than people getting into a habit that is very, very difficult to break. Yeah. If it's a good habit, that's fine. But if it's a bad habit, that's not fine. So be a coach, help them as much as you possibly can, and be there as much of the time as you can. And you can do that by doing on-the-job training. Be there at every stage. And that will make a huge, huge difference between success and failure. Yeah. Now, I know we don't sponsor people always close at hand. So if your team are at a distance, then use the phone and use Skype, because Skype is a fantastic tool that I think we generally underuse. Yeah. So if you're not on Skype, I would suggest you get on Skype. If your team aren't on Skype, get them on Skype, because it is such a useful tool. We can actually sit in front of the computer and see people, see, you know, how they're reacting to our question. Once your new team member's been in for a little while, then we need to really get to see them if it's all possible. You know, we should be able to travel, you know, a few hundred miles if you need to get to see your new team member if they're doing the work. Yeah. So, you know, don't be afraid. Jump in the car and go and see them. And being a leader means that you'll probably need to work with lots of people, and probably they're not all going to be front line. They're not going to be everybody that you've personally sponsored. It could be people who are several levels down from you. But this will not only help your team and your team members, but also help your business as a whole. Good information is what your new team member needs, all right? And that can come from you, it can come from your upline, it can come from downlines, it can come from sidelines. My philosophy on this when we first started was, don't mind where people get the information from, as long as it's good information. Yeah, you just got to make sure that people get good information. We also need to encourage everyone, not just everybody, to get to meetings. Yeah, if you've got a new team member or somebody in your team and they're fairly local to you, take them along to at least the first meeting, but you can make it on a regular basis. But once you've taken them along to these meetings, I would suggest that you don't abandon them. Yeah, I've seen it before where people have brought people along to a meeting and they just left them there while they go off and talk to somebody else. And I guess the sponsor is thinking, well, they'll go off and they'll make friends, they'll talk to other people, but that doesn't always happen. As a sponsor, introduce them to somebody else and then walk away for 5 minutes. That's fine, you know, because they can then have a chat. But you must initial introduction. But you also must remember to come back, pick them up, and maybe go off and introduce them to somebody else. Yeah, they don't have to 24 hours a day, but they need that initial introduction from you. So you do need to act professionally. You don't need to act like a clown. Question is, can you help people too much? And I think you probably can. I mean, when we first started in the business, we used to do all the day slips, we used to do the copies, everything that people needed. We would do it for them because we thought we were doing them a favor. But in truth, that held our business back because it not only cost us money, but it also cost us time to produce all these things. And we were doing people a disservice because they need to know what they've got to do so that they can then teach it on to their new people and show them what to do and how to do it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that would be a new person's job, to print off all the day slips, to print off all the thank you slips, the reminder slips, and so on. Yeah. Wouldn't do it for them. Let them do it themselves. So they are starting to get into the routine of all this printing off. So there's a couple of types of information. Obviously, giving and receiving information. Once you've brought somebody into the business, I would pass all your new team members' details onto your upline gold. You know, the telephone numbers, email addresses, and all the information that you can possibly give to them. Yeah, so at least your upline has got their information safe. I also say that you need to make sure that all your emails are passed on. Even if this new person isn't really doing very much at the moment, you just don't know what sort of information will then, you know, that they might read and it might just flick a switch in their head and they might start, you know, getting going with this business. And I know this looks a bit funny, but you need to treat your new team member a bit like a baby. Yeah, you need to feed your new team member regularly in small portions. Yeah, you can't force feed a baby, and you mustn't force feed a new distributor. If you try to give them too much information all at once, they hook on it. So just as I said earlier, just give them enough information to get them to the next step, and then give them some more information to get them to the next step, and so on. So don't overload with information. And when you want some information from your new team member, you need to use a bit of tact and diplomacy. For example, if somebody's been out for the first time, they've picked up their catalogues, I wouldn't pick up the phone and go, well, what did you get on your pickup? Because that doesn't sound very nice. You could ask how they got on collecting their catalogues. Ask them if they keep their records okay. Ask them if they need help with anything. And eventually you'll get round to finding out what they actually picked up with their catalogues. Yeah. be interested in how they're getting on, and in turn your new distributor let you know what you need to know anyway. Yeah, so just ask them questions which without getting straight into what did you pick up. But by asking these questions, you might also find that your new team is being totally honest with you. And we've had about 500 catalogs and I didn't get one order. Well, it's very, very unlikely. Or they might say, I put all 200 catalogs out and I haven't lost one. Well, that's unlikely as well. In fact, we know it doesn't happen. So, you know, you can start to judge how truthful that person's being. Yeah. So you can use questions, you know, where did you put your catalogs? When out? Did you use your day slips? Because I did have somebody come into the business years and years ago, and I said, look, just wait until I get, you know, contact you, and I'll run through everything, how to, you know, get all the catalogs on. And when I rang him up, he said, yeah, I put my catalogs out. I said, you put them out already? Yeah. I said, well, did you put any slips in there? No. Oh. 2 days later, he went back, picked up his catalogs, and I think he picked up about 5 because he hadn't waited to listen to the information that I needed to give to him. So, and just, I think he eventually dropped out. But that's because he wasn't listening to what I needed to tell him. Yeah. So yeah, you use questions, because action translates into results. If people put their catalogs out, they'll pick up orders. Yeah. If they put their catalogs out, it's just the way this business works. Yeah. We never say to people, look, we need you to do this because we can then get to this level or get to that level. See, people have joined Clean Easy to make money for themselves, not for you, and you must always remember that. So you're looking at a way that you can help them achieve the levels of income that they want, and by helping people get to the levels of income that they want, you'll get to the levels of income that you want. Yeah. Now our job is to lead, inspire, motivate, and encourage people to go for their dreams, whatever they are, whether it's an extra £100 or £200 a month, or whether it's several £1,000s a month, whether it's a new car, house, whatever it is. Our job is to lead, inspire, motivate, and encourage people to go for them. And we do need to train people, because it takes less time to do things right than to try and explain why they did it wrong. Yeah. If that guy that I talked about earlier on listened to what I said, used the day slip, he would have got his catalogs back, he would have picked up, and he might still be in the business now. But he never. And it went wrong, so, you know, he's no longer in the business. So it's much easier to get things right from day one than to try and put it right a bit later on. A fantastic training the other night, which is going to be uploaded onto Facebook in the next couple of hours, and it's all about showing people how to do something, because it's much better for people if you show them how to do something than just getting them to read some information. Yeah, doing leads to understanding. So when this video comes up onto Facebook, I highly recommend that you watch that video. It's so powerful, and it's getting across that we need to teach and show people what to do, rather than just giving them some information and saying go off and do it. Yeah. There's another good quote here. Advice is like snow. The softer it falls, the longer it dwells, and the deeper it sinks into the mind. That's very, very true. You plant a seed, and it grows. Yeah. So, you know, that's a super, but eventually you do need to become a trainer, and you need to listen and learn and then pass on everything that you've learned to your team. And this is why, right back at the beginning, get a pen, get some paper, make some notes. Yeah, that picture there are just some of the notes I took in the first 5 years of being in Clean Easy. Yeah. Now, when as a person, as a new person, when you get into the sponsoring side of things, don't worry, because your sponsor will help you 100% happy and confident to do things on your own. Okay, so don't go worrying about anything within Clean Easy. If you're not sure of something, you just speak to your sponsor. They'll give you good, sound advice. Okay. But one of the things within this business is you do have to let people go at their own pace. You know, business, they can do what they like. You know, we can guide them, we can teach them, but the speed that they go is totally up to them. It says here, you cannot push someone up a ladder. They must be willing to climb. And how true is that? You cannot push somebody from 10 to 21% in Clean Easy. They've got to be willing to through 13, 15, 18, 21% themselves. To help them, what we need to do is recommend CDs and books so they can actually learn about this business whilst we're not there. Because, you know, we're a lot of the time not there. We can't actually change people, but they can change themselves. It's all about mindset, and the books and the CDs do change people's mindset. I think a really good thing to realize is that you'll never be rich if you just rely on one person to get you there. There's no, if you think the first person that comes into your business is going to make you wealthy, you really do need to think again. This business is all about a lot of people doing a little. Yeah, and it's just the amount of people that you've got there that will really help you move up the plan within Clean Easy. But Clean Easy is like a leaky bucket. You know, people come into the business, some people drop out. Some more people come in, some more people drop out. Not everyone will stay. What we'll find is that the good ones do stay. Yeah, the good ones do stay, and just remember that. But don't burn bridges. And I've heard of several instances over the last few that people who came in maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, you know, they've gone off, they've got themselves a job, decided that it's time to rejoin this business. So don't burn bridges. You know, if they want to drop out, okay, well that's totally up to them. But they might come back in the future. So, you know, always stay on good terms with people. Always, you know, be on the lookout for the next person. Some will, some won't. So what next? But I'm just going to go back to that initial quote that we had. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. And basically, I've got to draw the line somewhere. So thank you for listening, and good luck with the business. And we'll catch up with you next time. Thank you.